Hey boys and girls, welcome to tonight's flip video. We're continuing with our measurement stuff. Today's lesson is going to be all about mass, which is just a fancy way of saying how much something weighs. There is a difference between mass and weight, but you'll learn about that more when you get into upgrades. So we've got three. This is the mass with the US system. Tomorrow will be mass with the metric system. So we've got the ounces, we've got the pounds, and we've got the tons. A ounce is about the weight of a battery. So if you have a battery, I just took this one out of my remote control, so you can take that out of your remote control and kind of feel that. I'd write down right here that it's a battery. Battery. A pound is, the shoes I wear every day. My shoe is roughly a pound. I think it's actually closer to 2 pounds. But so it's got a little bit more heft to it. Not as much as the battery. So I would say your shoes are probably slightly under a pound, but I would say pound, you could think a shoe. And finally, a ton is, if you love my beautiful drawing, the ton is about how much a rhino weighs. So as usual, I spend a lot of time on my drawings. I know it's a wonderful drawing. So let's talk about conversions between the two. From the ounces to the pounds, there's 16 ounces in a pound, and from the pounds to the tons, there are 2,000 pounds. And then you could work that to figure out how many ounces in a ton if you'd like. That'd be a cool little challenge for you to do. So what I would recommend is what's on my screen right now. I would recommend for you to write that down on your paper because it's going to be really helpful as we move into the next slides. So now we're going to have some problems here. It says Connor weighs 9 pounds. How many ounces is that? Well, I remember from the last slide that there are 16 ounces in 1 pound. So I have 9 pounds. So I'd have to do 16 plus 16 plus 16. I don't want to do repeated addition. That seems like a lot of work. I'll do multiplication. So I've got 16 times 9. Could do this traditional, or I could do a lattice box, or even I would be comfortable with you using a calculator for these. So I would have 54, carry the 5 up to the tens place value. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 5 would give me 14. So Connor would weigh 144 ounces. The abbreviation for ounces is OZ. So that's one way I could check it with a calculator and still get 144 ounces. So it's on our next problem. It says that the blue whale family weighs 18,000 pounds, which is slightly more than Mr. B weighs. How many tons do they weigh? So I remember from the last slide that there were need the marker. There were 2,000 pounds. LBS is the abbreviation for pounds. Actually comes from Latin. I know it looks nothing like pounds. So it would be 1 ton. So I've got a bunch of pounds and I want to break those up. Well, that sounds an awful lot like division to me. So I could do long division, or I could use a calculator, or what I would do is I would actually kind of pretend that these zeros and this zeros aren't there. Let's see how many times 2 can go into 18, and I know 2 is going to go into 18 9 times, so it would be 9 tons is how many all of those whales would weigh, which is a very considerable amount. Which brings us to our 2 bring back to school problems. It says if the dog weighs 17 pounds, how many ounces does he weigh? And how many pounds of cargo does a 5-ton truck carry? If you would like to use a calculator on any of those, totally okay with that. All I ask is when you're showing your work, you do set it up like a multiplication or division problem, depending whichever one you need to do. Then just write that you use a calculator. So there's your problems. Bring them back to school, and I'll see you in the morning.